Alright folks, I just got done playing the day 1 early access of the Battlefield 6 beta, and I wanted to make a quick little video and give you my thoughts, my first impressions. I think Battlefield 6 has a lot going for it, and honestly, I kind of think this is everything we were hoping it would be. So to start out, the graphics. You know, as I got playing, everything looks good. It doesn't look amazing, but the graphics look good. And, you know, I was thoroughly impressed. Nothing was jarring, blatantly ugly. It looked good comparable to other first-person shooters that are out, but nothing was super awe-inspiring. But that's not bad. You know, they've said that they are focusing on the Frostbite engine, and the destruction that they want to do in the game, you know, isn't really possible with the Unreal Engine. And so perhaps maybe that's why we're not getting some of the super fancy graphics, but it's plenty good enough. It looks great. I'm running it at 4K, and man, no complaints on the graphics department. Speaking of the destruction is so good. It's taking me back to Battlefield Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. Like, they are nailing the destruction. There was many times I'd be running through a map and, you know, go into a house, and then later in the match go back into that same house, and half the floor is broken out and the walls are all tore down. So now there's just an open avenue to look over a courtyard, and it was awesome. You know, there was other times where I'd be running down the street and a big explosion would hit the side of a building, and just the front fascia of the side of the building would fall down into the rubble on top of you. And, you know, the destruction's where it's at. You'd sometimes have campers up on the top of the buildings in some of these maps. You know, if they're in the attic, they're hard to get up a ladder and get to. And what do? Next time you spawn in with a RPG and start popping holes in the rooftop. You know, this is the destruction that I have been missing. This is the destruction that got me hooked on Bad Company and Bad Company 2, and I am so happy to see it back. Next, let's talk about the classes. You know, we all know they're back, and I'm glad that we've moved on from the specialists and we're back to the, you know, 4 main classes. As I played through the beta, I noticed every class to me felt pretty unique. I enjoyed the differences between the two, and I think we've hit a pretty good stride. I'm a sucker for the M4, and it's nice to have that as an option that you can use across classes. But each individual class has its strengths and weaknesses, and to be honest, I kind of felt the Assault class was a little weak, a little underperforming, and support was good, like maybe too good. I guess some folks are saying that the support class is overpowered. I don't know if it's the LMG or what aspect of it, but maybe it is. It was my personal favorite. But, you know, with the support class, one thing that I found a little troublesome was there's not a really great option for destruction. If I was a support class and somebody was entrenched or I need to blow up a wall, you know, there's not really an option. You know, the Assault has, you know, the grenade launcher, the 203 or the 320, whatever it is. The support class obviously has the RPGs, and even the snipers, you know, they've got C4, but the support class didn't really have that. So maybe that's the one area it's lacking, but people seem to think it's a little too strong. And, you know, I did confirm that I am still terrible as a sniper. And speaking of the support class specifically, I got reading online, and there's some controversy around the support class. Not only that some people are thinking it's too strong, but there's a mechanic in the game that if a support class, or I think any class really, fixes somebody in their location, they suppress someone, the individual not only will have their screen kind of get fuzzy, but they also won't regenerate health. And I think that's a really cool mechanic, but it's causing some stir, and maybe we'll talk about that more in another video, but that is something of note, and it did come into play a couple times in my playthrough, and I kind of like the mechanic. I think it's pretty cool. Next, I want to hit on team play. You know, I think I've played a lot of Call of Duty recently. I've been dabbling in Gray Zone Warfare, and that's been fun. But coming from a Call of Duty game to Battlefield, you know, the focus really shifts from individual play and KD ratios to team play. And, I mean, Battlefield 6 in the beta, I mean, nails it. The team play really matters, the different classes working together to do different things, and obviously the support class, my favorite, is awesome, and it's been fantastic Having the engineers repair vehicles plays into, some of the vehicle warfare. And I did a lot of reviving. Everybody can revive, but the support class can do the defibrillators and revive quicker. But it's good. I did also notice about teamwork. I don't think a lot of people testing the beta are really trying to work as teams, because there was often times that there'd be clear issues in our tactics of how we were playing, and I think that'll get worked out. But it's fun to be back in a game where teamwork really seems to matter at how a match goes. In the beta so far, I have had a blast. I played with a buddy, I played by myself a little bit, and it's awesome. I really had a really good time. I get it, I'm kind of gushing over this thing. But for the most part, I held my own. I was able to hop right back in and not miss a beat, and I handled pretty well. I represented well. I did notice at the end though, there was like 3 matches in a row where I got throttled. I couldn't do anything, and maybe I was just getting tired. Maybe that's just the luck of the draw. I did read something about skill-based matchmaking coming into play in Battlefield 6, and it got me wondering if that somehow turned on, or that was a factor. Maybe I just need to get good. But it was noticeably harder those last 3 games. We were playing against some really good people, and I don't know if that's a factor or not. I'm going to look into that, see what I can figure out. But for the most part, the matches were fun, and you didn't feel like you were ever just totally beat down and couldn't do anything, except for maybe those couple last towards the end were a little odd. But overall, so much fun. I'm looking forward to diving back in, tomorrow, getting back in, getting some more rounds in. And, some final thoughts, just kind of the state of the game. There's glitches, it's a beta, some wonky things happen in the game. The UI has some issues. Nothing too major. There's some issues with accessing the menu, and then the way you back out is a different button, or when you leave a match, bringing your squad with you, things like that. I'm sure will get resolved. What I did notice were kind of 2 things. The weapon customization and the loadout changes feel clunky. I think they can kind of clean that up a little bit, but right now, how you get in and customize your weapon, or even just change, equipment in your loadout, just doesn't feel quite as crisp and smooth as I'd like. So hopefully we can get that squared away, in the future as we go forward from the beta. But man, overall, if you can, download the open beta, watch a stream, get the early access, start playing tomorrow. This beta is definitely worth your time. If you're a Battlefield fan, this is it. EA's hitting it out of the park on this one. So hopefully, I never thought I'd say that, but hopefully they keep it up and it all improves from here. But those are my thoughts. I want to hear what you guys think. What's your experience been like? Have you been watching some streams? Have you been getting into the beta? Tell me what you think. What are you liking? What are you not liking? And shoot, man, let's jump back into the Battlefield. I'm so excited to keep playing. And if you like the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It'll help me out. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the beta. I hope you're enjoying the videos on the channel, and I'll catch you next time.